our pravesha to approach 3. So after Varuna has said, look, you are the Akshara, and that you are this and that, and he started off with Om. That Om is also a fascinating word because Om is an abbreviation. It is not just, it is, yes, it is a name of the Supreme. And as we have done before, when I say name of the Supreme, I actually mean the adjective of the Supreme. Yeah, it's its attributes and its qualities. That is what the sound Om actually signifies. What are all his attributes? So that attributes are all compressed in this Om as an abbreviation. So let us like abbreviation like USA, which is United States of America, UK, United Kingdom, NHS, National Health Service. So we got all these kind of abbreviations that is all around us. Similarly, Om is also an abbreviation. How does that abbreviation evolve? O. So you have these vowels, A, E, U, and all that. So two vowels, A and U, when they combine together, they become O in Sanskrit. Okay. So, and then you have Makara, which is a sound, which will come to that next. So A plus U plus M becomes Om. So Om is actually, you split it into 3 components, A, U, M. If that A, U, M is an abbreviation, what is it an abbreviation of? Okay, that is the first question. Yeah. So now what Varuna is telling us is you can actually now do philosophical journey and inquiry into that. What is that abbreviation? The very first thing it points to you is the word Om gives you a concept of God. Yeah. Let us not kid ourselves. None of us actually know who God is. We do not know, but it can give you a concept of God. How? So let's see how it goes over 2 slides. So you have Akara, you have Ukara, and Makara. So let's take the Akara. Is, what does means? It's called Nisheda Vachakaha. Nisheda Vachakaha means negation. Yeah, that we all agree, isn't it? Even in English, you have a before, then it means opposite of something. Yeah. So A generally means negation. So there are 3 approaches to negation in our Indian languages. Yeah, in most Indian languages, there are 3 ways of negating something. Say, I will take Kannada, which is my mother tongue. I'll take Kannada, for example, or you can also take other South Indian languages like Tamil, for example. You can say Allah or Illa or Virudha. Allah means not this. Okay. Illa means no. Illa, idu illa. No. Viruddha means opposite. Yeah. So when I say akara, it indicates all 3 concepts. So now the interesting question is, how am I going to bring that into the concept of God? You will understand this in 5 minutes. Now, in our school, when we teach children, when we teach language, or when we give them knowledge about things in the world, what do we do in our schools? Okay, so we take an object. For example, you will go to the zoo and you will show a giraffe, and you will tell your kid in the pram. We've all done that. So you will say, this is a giraffe. Can you see this long thing? This is the giraffe. So what you're doing when you're teaching kids language or things about the world is you take an object, then you utter a sound, and then you teach the kids to link the sound to that particular object. And that is how they learn not only the language, but they also know about things in the universe, in the world around them. So the first thing is you need to have the object in front of you to be able to give a particular sound and get the kids to know what that object actually is. Yeah, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. But when you want to know about God, the approach is different, because nobody can show this God fellow and say, this is God, his name is Vishnu. Nobody can do that. Can we do that? Can we just go and show Vishnu and say, this is Vishnu? No. And our Vedic philosophers understood that very clearly. Okay. And they said, you know what? If you want to understand God first, you need to start off with a negative approach and then go to a positive approach. Okay. So when I take the A word, first you should know what God is not. So when I want to tell something about God, I would first say, he is not this. He is not a giraffe. he is not a monkey, he is not carrots, he is not a cake, he is not water, he is not earth, he is not Agni, he is not air, he is not space, he is not the Panchabhutas, and you will start you can talk about this forever. You can say what he is not, we can be good at. Yeah. So that is the first stage of contemplation of the Supreme, is first to understand what he is not. And that is what that Akara is telling us. Yeah. So for example, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is this famous verse, Neti Neti. Yeah, it's a Neti Neti Atma, and it comes in various places. Neti Neti. So that is the very first concept of God, saying Na iti. Okay, iti means this, not this, not this. So you start off, when you want to have a concept of the Supreme, first you have to start by he is not this, he is not this, he is not that, i.e., he is not anything made of Panchabhutas. Yeah. So that is the first concept about A. That is Allah. Next one is illa. Illa means no. No what? No doshas. So he has no doshas or defects. That is another concept that you understand. And the third one is viruddha. Viruddha means opposite. So when I say he has no doshas, the opposite becomes true, which is gunapurna. That is, he is an abode of infinite auspicious attributes, and he has no defects, and he is sarva vilakshana. He is completely different from anything material that we are aware of. Okay, so that is the first concept that you get from the word A. And Aitareya Upanishad, for example, say aha iti brahma. A means akara is indication of Brahma. Brahma means the supreme being, and we have seen the etymology of Brahma so many times. Okay, so the first, so in that akara, ukara and makara, the akara is already giving you a negative approach of understanding the supreme. Yeah. Now the question is that all to it? If this chap is completely beyond everything, the first question is, why is he completely beyond everything? That is the first question. The second question is, if he is completely beyond everything, how on earth am I going to know about him? Yeah. So how do you square the circle? So immediately what happens is Ukara comes there. After Akara, you get the Ukara. And what does the Ukara tell us? Ukara is an abbreviation of Uttama or Utkrishta. Okay. Uttama means what? The highest, the Purushottama, Uttama. He is the highest. He is highest far beyond any of the material things that you know. And that is the reason why he is Neti Neti Atma, because he is completely beyond anything material, and he is completely beyond the Kshara and the Kutastha Akshara as described in the Gita. So I'm going to invite Sureshji to recite that particular very important verse for us, Suresh.
यस्मात् क्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः.
Thank you, Suresh. So Purushottamaha, Purusha Uttamaha. Okay, that Uttamaha starts with Ukara, and that exactly is the Ukara of Om. Okay. So again, that is the beauty of how we study our Prasthanatrayas. Don't study Prasthanatrayas in isolation. You should always have your Gita with you. You should always have your Upanishad with you. And ideally, you should have your Sutra with you, Brahma Sutra with you, to understand what is it that these Shastras are telling us. So you have the Upanishad Prasthana on your left, and you have your Gita Prasthana on the right. So when you take both together, it completely fits in here. Why Ukara is there? Because he is Uttama. So that is a positive approach. So you now have understood that the Supreme Being is Uttama. So from a negative approach, which was the first stage of contemplation, you are now slowly drifting towards a positive approach of accepting that he is Purusha Uttama or Utkrishta, and that is the reason why he is Neti Neti Atma. Okay. Now the big question arises, the second question. If this is an incomprehensible entity and beyond our reach, why waste searching for it? Yeah. So that is a natural question there, isn't it? If it's so big and it is beyond our grasp, then why waste searching for it? This is a common colloquial argument from our materialists and charvakas, and many of our my kids challenge me on this. For example, we have these kind of discussions regularly, and I'm sure yours do as well. So this is our youngsters' problem. If this is so beyond everything, why bother wasting our time? And I also see many adults also asking this question. So Om comes to our immediate rescue there, and you have the Makara there. Okay, Makara, the Makara there stands for Mana. Mana means Manam. Manam means Jnanam. Jnanam means to know or knowable. So when you contemplate on Om, it gives you now a much more of a more acceptable, more favorable. It's almost kind to us. It's saying, yeah, he is beyond, he's so big, but you know what? Still, you can know something about him. He is knowable. Yeah. How is he knowable? Let us take Garuna Purana, which gives you a classic example, and Acharya cites this in few places. Pashyanto api na pashyanti mero rupam vipaschitaha. So when I do Badri Yatri, and when I go to Badri and I go to the Himalayas, I can touch the Himalayan mountains and say, oh, I've been to Badri, I've touched Himalayas, I know what Himalayas is. But actually, have I seen every grain, every stone of the Himalayas? Have I hugged the Himalayas? No, I have just touched it and I've come. That exactly is a similar kind of approach about the Supreme. In fact, Gita 15:3 is also talking something about this to us. Vinaji, if you want to recite that for us, please.
न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा.
Thank you, Vinaji. So, narupamasya iha tata upalabhyate na antoho na cha adihi na cha sampratishta. Here, Krishna is saying, look at this whole, this discussion is about the Ashwatha tree, right? If you recall that. And he says, this universe is so vast. Has anybody seen the beginning of the universe, the middle of the universe, the end of the universe? No mundane human being has seen even the every bit of the universe. So the lesson there for us is, if the universe itself we don't know anything about much, but still we go about talking as though we know everything, what about the Supreme who is so beyond and big than the universe itself? So when you take that equation, then we start beginning to understand, yes, we can know about him, but there is an element of limitations to how much we can know about him. So if this is our state of knowledge of the material world, that we do not know every aspect of the material world, what to say about the infinite supreme? And the word makara, the mana or jnana or knowability of Brahman or God is captured by that makara in Om. How? Let us go to the beach. Let us go to the sea. Okay. There is this vast expanse of water. Now you have glasses of different sizes. Okay. Now, I put a statement here, and I'm not sure if you will have a disagreement with me there. I can fill my cup from the sea, but cannot fill the whole sea in my cup and bring it home. Yeah, that's fine. That is a perfectly valid argument, and that exactly is the state of the jivas. Yeah, each jiva, as per its capacity, can touch this Meru mountain called the Vishnu, or can touch the sea, or fill its own cup and become full from its own capacity. Yeah, but it will not be able to extract every component, every water molecule of the ocean, of the sea. So it gives you that idea of, yes, he is beyond matter, he is incomprehensible because he is the highest, but you jivas, as per your capacity, you could have some knowledge about him. So that is that concept of God that Om should bring into us. HinduKnowledgeAcademy.com will celebrate Vedic culture and present its philosophies to the modern Hindu in an accessible format. Our ancient heritage is our greatest strength. Through preservation and dissemination, together Let us spread positivity in the world. Thank you for listening and welcome to Hindu Knowledge Academy.